You came to me in that hour of need, when I was so lost, so lonely. You came to me, took my breath away, showed me the right way, the way to lead. You filled my heart with love, showed me the light above. Now all I want is to be with you. You are my one true love, taught me to never judge. Now all I want is to be with you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mustafa, ala habibika nabiyika Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The topic of our discussion, as I think it's 13th session that we have, Islamic philosophy course, and there are a lot of questions concerning this issue that I asked and I will answer, and then it will be time for you to ask more questions. But just for as a summary of the topic of justice of God, let me just put you in the picture, because we've got some newcomers, which they are also welcome from the Faculty of World Studies that I also teach at that faculty. You are welcome. The whole issue of philosophy of justice of God is that we believe that God is just. And justice has got a meaning. It means he will put everything on its own place. That's the meaning of justice. Justice not necessarily means equality. Not always equality is justice. Sometimes in equal situations, of course, equality is justice, but sometimes equality is in justice. So you have to understand that issue. It means that God has put everything on its place. So he's not an oppressor, because he has given to everyone what that being deserve. Not more, not less. He has positioned everything in its place, and that is the true meaning of justice. And on that issue, there is a lot of questions. That if God is just, why we have differences? We have answered that question last week. That difference is necessary, and it is necessity of creation. You cannot have creation without difference. Just imagine if everything in the world was not different. Everything was the same. Then we didn't have anything, because everything was the same. We didn't have nothing, because everything was white. So whiteness did not have no meaning. If everything was blue, then being blue, the color blue, did not have no meaning. Colors has got meaning when there is difference. Then you put one red, one white, one black, and recognize. With the differences, then you recognize. If everything was big or everything was small, if in the world there was only one type of fruit, or one type of beings, or one type of everything, all human beings were going to look exactly like each other, then I didn't know who is Hassan, who is Hussein. We have already problems with twins, which you sometimes you cannot recognize. Are you Hassan or Hussein? Oh, sorry, you have to have. But just imagine if all of us we were twins. Okay, then you will not able to recognize anyone from anyone. So difference is necessity of creation. So we have to have difference. That is one. On that issue, we have to know some issues. When one is that we have sometimes non-realistic judgments. By the way, this topic is not related only to Islam or Christianity or Judaism. Whoever follows any religion can actually identify himself or herself with the discussions, because it is something to do concerning God, and whoever believe in God in any school of thought, you need this discussion. And let me also make it clear, in the whole world I have studied all religions, all schools of thoughts. I have been into Christianity, to Judaism, to Buddhism, to Hinduism, and I've compared them all. Only one school of thought can actually give such an answers to the whole philosophy of creation, and then also concerning the justice of God. The rest of all schools of thoughts around the world has got some problems with the translations of this issue, and because they haven't understood it properly, maybe that is the reason that they cannot give a good interpretations of the whole issue. Sometimes we blame God that he is not just, while we are realistically judge the whole issue. It's the source of that is non-realistic judgments. So, for example, we don't know the hidden sense of things, so we do some judgments. The benefits of everything is not known to us. The future and the past and the presence of things are not sometimes so clear. So that's why we have we have judgments concerning all of those issues. I remember the time of war between Iran and Iraq. So our family was clergymen. So we had a neighbor in Mashhad. This neighbor's son has to go for fighting because he was at the age of 22, and so he has to enroll as a soldier, so become a part of the army, and obligatory for all about 22 to go to to be a part of the army. So he was asked to be a part, so he was there, and 2 years of his service passed. But during these 2 years, always, we were hearing in our yard the cry of his mother. That wherever it's said, like every week, twice, three times, we hearing this story. That he was coming and he was shouting loud and he was insulting us. Especially us as a family of clergies. That because of you, type of people, my son now has to be in fighting, and always very loud, and he was making sure that we should hear his voice every day. So however, we were having tolerance, and we were going there sometimes. We were giving him tranquility. We give him some gift. We had a good relationship, but however, as a mother, he was always complaining. So he finished the 2 years of the service. He came back from war, healthy, intact, no problem. So immediately the mother was so happy that the son is back from fight, and in fact they approached us that we want to ask for a girl to marry this son, and we would like you guys to come and help us. So we were there. We even prepared to buy some stuff for the house, and we prepared the whole grounds. We went there, and all of the ceremony, everything finished. The same night of the wedding, this particular bride and groom were running toward Wakilabad street, and that rush, that problematic custom that we have, that during the night of the wedding we have this lawful, illegal type of driving up and down and fasting, they do this and that. In that process, the son met an accident with a tree. And the son and the wife, both of them died immediately. So the whole thing turned to be not a wedding, but unfortunately a very sad event. After that, this mother was crying all the time and says, why you didn't become shaheed during the time of war? The same mother who was complaining every night, every day in his yard for 2 years, talking, so bad words and saying all of those sentences. The same mother, from that time, he was trying to, say why that my son did not become shaheed. That is the reality of our judgments all the time. When we don't know the knowledge of events, what is going to happen in our future, what is going to be our tomorrow. And because we don't have those knowledge, we always do judgments according to the present situation that we have, and those present situations are not the whole story. And based on a small piece of period, the judgment is always is problematic. We don't know if this son that we are going to have is going to be a good son or a bad son. So we do some judgment. We don't know if the money that we are going to have is going to help us or it's going to be a problematic one. Of course, if Mr. B. Z did not have money, he was not going to be in jail now. So I don't know if we have now, if he's happy of having money or he's not happy of having that type of money. A lot of our relationships, whatever we have, the benefits of things we don't know properly. So because of those hidden sense of events which is happening, we always do wrong judgment and non-realistic judgments. The story of Hazrat Khizr and Moses in Quran, concerning that story in chapter Kahf, if you read those 3 events and incidents, that even a prophet sometimes makes that mistake. A prophet like Moses. Remember, Moses in Quran has been named 136 times, while our prophet was named in the same book of his book 3 times. 3 times our prophet, but Moses 136 times. Even Jesus Christ's name in our book is more than our prophet. That also as a little bit of a sign that if it was written by Muhammad himself, of course he was going to put his name more than at least Moses. However, so a prophet like Moses, which is respected by all religions around the world, and in Quran 136 times talks about this man. This man is meeting a normal man called Khizr. Okay, now he wants to accompany Khizr. Khizr says, you have no tolerance. You cannot tolerate. You cannot cope walking with me and being in my company. He says, no, don't worry, I will be always, keeping silence. He said, no problem, but then don't ask questions. However, those 3 events happens in chapter Kahf. You can go and read. And at the end of the day, anytime those illogical, so-called illogical in his mind, in the mind of Moses, happens, he raised his voice. But why? He says, listen, I told you you cannot cope because you don't know the hidden sense of things. And then three things happen, and he asked question, and finally he convinced him that all of those three events was right, but he was doing a non-realistic judgment. That is one of the things that always we also in our life, every day, we experience non-realistic judgments concerning things which is happening around, and we blame God for it. Premature judgment. Sorry, I haven't have time to edit this. If there is any mistake in writing, so please forgive. The one premature judgment is concerning when God created human being. There was an objection by who? By angels. The angels said, we are here to worship you. Why you are giving wisdom to something called mankind for them to be an oppressor and transgressors? Why? We are here, we will worship you. There was an objection. And that was a premature judgment, because they say, they have been told by God, I know something that you don't. And then later on, whenever beautiful things happens in this world, God will use that one as a big document to show to the angels that you are making mistake. Story of Ibrahim and Ismail. Story of Hoseini and the sacrifice of Karbala. Story of Jesus Christ. Story of Moses. Stories of beautiful people, good people of this world. Whenever they do something extraordinary, immediately God used that one and he says, فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنَ الْخَالِقِينَ. So that's a type. We have got also always premature judgments concerning everything which happens. If there is a problem in your life, immediately you blame God for having this big problems, while you don't know that maybe this problem is in your benefit. Just imagine you are driving with a car toward north, and you know you are in LA actually. It's just a little bit of a slit of the mountain has been digged, and you are actually in that small road, and there is barriers right at the side of the road that you should not be falling into the depths of the valley. If you do that, then it's definitely this. Now imagine once you come and you make accident with these barriers. When you come down and you see your car is damaged so badly that's maybe even written off, you also get injured. But then you look down to the depths of the valley there. You say, yeah, thank you God for having these injuries. Thank you God for having the car damaged. Otherwise, if there was no barrier, of course I was not going to be injured, but I was going to be dead. This car was not going to be written off. It was going to be burned, and it's going to be burned us also, wet. It's premature judgment that you have, that things which has happened just now is probably is very bad, but at the end of the day, those problems that you have, it's going to be sometimes problems that you should love them. Problems that we should love them. There is famous story concerning this man who had a small child and a dog in the house. So because of necessity, he has to go to shop and come back. When he came back from shopping, he saw, as soon as he entered the house, he saw the dog with a bloody mouth. So he immediately thought, in my absence, the dog has eaten my child or done something with my child. And he had a gun, immediately shot the dog. Dog is dead. He went inside. He said the story is something else. There was a wolf came into the house. And actually the dog was defending the child. The child is in healthy condition. Just imagine the amount of shameful, premature judgment, which was too late. It was too late. But always we have such a premature judgments that things happen in our life that later on we say, oh God, thanks for having all of those problems. Just imagine two child in school. The one child has got a father, caring, loving, disciplined father. So as soon as you have the first cigarette, he comes there, you have a hiding. You are not free. You are very limited. You must go on time, come on time. You should not have always playing with this Instagrams and telegrams and this grams and that grams and all of that. Okay? So, however, you are limited, basically in prison, in jail. But at the end of the day, just 20 years later, you are a professor, you are a big man, you are a minister, you are an important person in the society with a job, with a responsibility, with a good family, with a respect. But there was the same time that you were schooling, there was another child which was very happy. He didn't have a father, he didn't have a caring father or caring mother. So he had his good times, he's happy. He had his cigarettes, he had his drinks, he had his drugs, he had his bad friends, bad companions. Then later on he is in jail, you are in Mr. President. So you have to go and kiss the hand of the one which was giving you those hidings. Thank you very much. Because of this hand, because of that hidings, I am now what I am. But the other person who is in jail, he was whole time, he was very happy. He was, free, whatever he want to do, should not have temporal judgment concerning things which is happening. Don't look at what is now. Just see what is going to be the consequence of what you are going to have later on. Child cries on injection. Fine. You arrive there, you say, child is crying. You don't have mercy on a child. A child is crying, but this cry is something necessary. He needs to be healthy. And without this cry, without this injection, you are not going to have a healthy child. Remember when I had my first injection on my shoulder when I was in school, I had a lot of pain and I had to cry. But at the end of the day, now I am a healthy person because of that vaccination. This vaccinations all the time is painful. All tablets that you have, all drinks that you have, probably all of them is not so pleasant, so sweet. So, birth pain for the ladies, just imagine. You have it, but at the end of the day, just imagine if you, you feel sorry and say, no, because of this, we are not going to have no childbirth. What happened? And I told you the story of that last week, I think, no? Concerning the, Moses was asked by some ladies that, oh God, can you please just take away this birth pain and give it to our husbands? That was the request of the ladies in Egypt. So he said to God, this is the request of the ladies. From that time, whenever a lady was giving birth to a child, the husband was crying. So it was happening, everything was happy until there was this lady who was giving birth to the child, but the cry was not coming from the husband, it was coming from the neighborhood. Okay, then the neighborhood, the actual father was there. So everything has got a philosophy, everything has got a reason. But we should not just look at that part of a story that there is a lady in pain. This is necessity. This is a necessity for the life to continue. The limitation of a child in school, I also mentioned about that. And then the other wrong judgment that we have is that we are the cause of most of the problems around, not God. The philosophy of cause and effect is the reason for all of the problems that we have, not God. The only one which we should not accuse is God. The rest, everything you can accuse. And I can give you examples for everything. For example, we are not hygienic. And then naturally, philosophy of cause and effect works, you get sick. And then you blame God. Why at this time? Oh God, I've got exams and you have to make me sick. You have power. You can prevent it. No, sorry. It was your problem. You should not. You should be always hygienic. You should always look after your health. You should look after your health. You know, you have a small baby. You should always look after the small one and a swimming pool. You should look after the swimming pool. At least have a barrier in overseas. Always, as soon as the child come, then those who has got swimming pool, they have got a type of net which is coming over, that even if a child go, it's not going to go under the water. But you don't have it. A child just walk there, try to play with the water, and he likes and he fall down. Who is responsible? It's you. You didn't look after your baby. And then oh God, how you can take away my child? Sorry, I didn't. You didn't love your child enough to accompany him all the time. Don't blame me. Okay, earthquake comes, kills 60,000 people in Bam. Tsunami come in Indonesia and Malaysia, and 365,000 people dead. In Japan, so many people, lose their life. Where is God? Why God cannot prevent it? Why God allows this to happen? Children plays in the street. You know, all the old time you had houses was made of clay and there was no cement, so this and that. So they play football. So the ball just falls over the roof. So it just go and run, and then there is a small hole there for the waste of water. The ball goes into that hole, and it blocks. Rain comes, and there is no cement. It's not a concrete house. You are sleeping down. Rain comes, all of the roof falls over you, and 8, 9, 10 people dead. Now, whom you want to claim? Whom you want to blame here? If you don't want this small incident doesn't happen, if this 8 people, you don't want it to die, the whole universe should stop. Everything should be upside down. Everything should be upside down for this 8 people not to be killed. For example, children should not play anymore. If the children play, they should not play in the streets. If they play in the street, they should not play with a ball. A ball should not be round. It should be square. That, you know, when it goes at the top, it should not just roll down. It should be cubic balls. Just imagine having cubic balls. Okay? And then we should not have gravity, otherwise this gravity is the one which takes the whole, it goes there and the gravity pulls it onto the, what you call, to the drain, and then we should not have rain at all, because 8 people's life want to be saved. Rain, why we should have rain? You know? See, everything should be stopped because 8 people is not going to be, we don't want these 8 people to be dead. No. Ghalibaf want to have a road from south to the north, and it is 37 kilometers. In process, 12,000 houses has to be destroyed. Has to be destroyed. Sorry. Cannot help it. It is necessity of the town. We need roads. And it has to be established. Otherwise, we are going to have heavy traffics. So, houses has to be destroyed. Let it be. Under the ground, there is so much activities. I was just watching an amazing documentary on how life has come into the earth. Yes, it was so amazing. You must just look at it. That how the whole planets has established, how they formed, how the particles came together, how the summits came together and joined together and become huge, and then attracted the rest of the particles on the stones and become huge and big. And then when you become so much big, then there is activities inside the earth. And why life has established on the earth? Because the central part of this earth has actually created electromagnet shield, which is actually protecting the whole earth from all of the energies and the waste and the fires and the unnecessary harmful flames and lights which is arriving from sun to the earth. And those things has actually destroyed life in Mars, destroyed life in the rest of the other planets, but did not manage to destroy life because there is a protection around the earth so strong that nothing can be passed. And then under the ground there is a lot of activities. It's moving. Under the ground is moving. And when under the ground the lights are moving, result of that is earthquake. And the earthquake comes and 60,000 people in Bam has to lose their life. So what you want? You want me to tell me that? Tell to a God that God should tell to the earth that you should not move inside. Just keep silent. Because this 60,000 people, life has to be saved. No. Creation has to go, to move. It is more important to have earth moving. Inside the earth, the movement is there. The heat is there. Has to be for the life to continue, even if the 60,000 people die there. Even if 365,000 people is dead by tsunami. But then we are able to prevent those things. You have knowledge, you have science, you have technology. The technologists, the scientists are telling you, oh Tehranis, you are on the earthquake line. Either don't stay in Tehran, or if you're staying here, establish a stronger house, build a stronger house. Something which, when earthquake comes, you should be protected. Because earthquake comes in Japan, gets 8 people injured. 8 degree. But comes in Bam with 6 degree, kills 6,000 people. It is because you are not building stronger house when you are on this earthquake line, and then you blame God. That God, He killed 60,000 people. That is not the case. You killed yourself. It's philosophy of cause and effect. It has to work. In fact, if one day God comes and wants to interfere, you should go and request God, please leave it as it is. Don't interfere. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. That whenever you want to kill somebody, God should come and stop you. You want to kill it, you want to just press it. Some extra powers must come and hold your fingers that you should not be able to trigger. If that happened, then in the whole world there is no good person, there is no bad person, because everyone automatically is good. Because as soon as you want to tell lie, somebody is protecting. As soon as you want to kill somebody, you want to be... As soon as you want to do anything bad, somebody is there to protect you. Then there is no bad, there is no good. Where is a choice there? Then automatically you are a good person, not by choice. Goodness is meaningful when you have choice. So, philosophy of cause and effect has got three types of philosophy of cause and effect that we have. Sometimes we have physical cause with physical effect. Fire burns. So simple. When we're talking about philosophy of cause and effect, it's not only the physical one. Sometimes you have physical cause and has got a spiritual effect. Like you pay charity, then you gain forgiveness, for example. Or that happiness that comes to you, that happiness inside, that spiritual happiness inside you, that you are proud of yourself, that you helped somebody. It's not physical. It is spiritual. Or you have some spiritual cause which has got physical effects. Like, pray for rain. It happened, and I saw this, really. It happens. That if all of you with those conditions which is said that, you go and you pray with the same described manners, you will have rain by God. It is a spiritual, but at the end of the day you get physical rain. Or you have a stress. Stress is not something physical. It's a spiritual condition that you have. Why animals don't get cancer? Because they don't have stress. Yeah? Why animals don't get most of our disease? Because they don't have stress. Most of our disease is because of stress. And stress is actually a spiritual condition. And it gives you physical effects of all of the sickness that you have. If there is more questions, I'm here to answer. Please go ahead. Salam.
My ummah, he will say, Rasulullah on that day, even though we've strayed from him and his way. My brothers, my sisters in Islam, let's struggle, work and pray.